en chantant des chansons.
Eartha Kitt was one of the great American singers of all time. But she was more than just a singer, actress, and entertainer. She was also a voice for so many marginalized people, and she was a controversial figure, perhaps till this day. Join Facts First to learn about Eartha Kitt's life and career, the controversies in her life, and her reason for being exiled from America. Eartha Kitt was born Eartha Mae Keith on January 17, 1927, in South Carolina. She was born on a cotton plantation, and her mother, Annie Mae, was of Cherokee and African heritage. It's still disputed who her father was, but he certainly wasn't in the picture. It's believed Annie Mae was raped by the son of the owner of the plantation and that he was Eartha's father. This is one explanation as to why Eartha had lighter skin. Eventually, Eartha went on to live with her Aunt Rosa, and this only brought more trouble. Aunt Rosa's home wasn't welcoming, and it's believed Eartha faced physical and emotional abuse there. In her teens, Annie Mae died, and Eartha left Aunt Rosa's house and moved to Harlem to live with another relative named Mamie Kitt. And Mamie Kitt has also been rumored to be Eartha Kitt's actual biological mother. However, when she moved to Harlem, her life began to improve. She attended a vocational high school where she found her talent for singing and performing. Upon graduating high school, she decided to forego university, which was a rare option for Black Americans those days, and decided to try her luck at singing, which was also a risky profession. Nevertheless, she managed to land membership in the Katherine Dunham Company in 1943 at age 16. She stayed in this troupe until 1948 and began her singing career. Before we tell you more, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Eartha Kitt's career success. Some of Eartha Kitt's earliest hits were the songs Just an Old-Fashioned Girl, Let's Do It, Champagne Taste, Love for Sale, and Santa Baby. Around this time, the late 40s and early 50s, she also surprised audiences with a couple French songs. She also sang a Turkish song. She toured around the US and in Europe. While in Europe, she became fluent in French and continued to sing many French songs. She felt a connection in Europe, and this was good, as she would eventually make the continent her home. She also learned German and Dutch and had a unique singing style compared to others of her generation. As the 60s approached, she was one of the most well-known singers of her generation, and others began to emulate her, most notably Diana Ross. It was in the 1950s that she also wanted to pursue a career as an actress. In 1950, she appeared in a stage production of Dr. Faustus, directed by Orson Welles. She loved acting on stage and appeared in many plays both on and off Broadway. She also began a film and television career around this time. She appeared in popular shows like Batman, Mission Impossible, I Spy, Welcome to New York, American Dad, and The Simpsons. Her film debut was an uncredited role in a 1948 film called Casbah. She appeared as herself in a 1954 film called New Faces. Her notable films included St. Louis Blues, Ana Lucasta, Saint of Devil's Island, Up the Chastity Belt, Ernest Scared Stupid, Boomerang, Fatal Instinct, and Then Came Love. She had a great career as a singer and actress and made her name in America and Europe. But she also had her haters, and this made her a target. Ever wish you could earn points on every purchase instead of signing up for so many reward programs? Well, with Fetch, you can. Fetch is a super easy to use free app where you earn free rewards on literally anything you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt and you will earn points for every purchase. The purchase doesn't need to be on specific brands or items. Scan any purchase. Even if you have receipts that are up to 2 weeks old, you can scan them and start earning points. After you scan, you can redeem those points for hundreds of rewards, including Amazon, Visa, Starbucks, GameStop, and Walmart gift cards. Fetch is 100% free and so easy to use. Check out the link in the description, download the app now, and use the code FACTSFIRST to get 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt. This is a limited time offer for Facts First viewers, so be sure to check it out now. Why Eartha Kitt was exiled from the country. It's not unusual for a celebrity to express their opinions on certain matters, especially as they become more famous. Such was the case for Eartha. In 1968, a year now famous for student protests, riots, and other sorts of uprisings, Eartha Kitt began to express her views loudly. The Vietnam War was raging on, and she had something to say about it. At a Q&A session, she spoke out against the Vietnam War and defended the protesters who called for President Johnson to end the war. She also called out the First Lady and mentioned that in America, we raise children with the sole intent of sending them to war. She asked the First Lady how she would feel, knowing that she too had children. This caused Mrs. Johnson to cry, and it was one of the most controversial statements that an American civilian had made to a person sitting in office. It was due to this that the government and propaganda machine tried to bring her down. The CIA had a dossier on Eartha Kitt, and it was later revealed she was described as a sadistic nymphomaniac in the dossier. A New York Times journalist, Seymour Hersh, found out about it and used material from it to publish an article about Eartha Kitt, which discussed her sex life, among other things. This was a serious invasion of her privacy, and it seemed that the powerful people were out there to destroy her after she had made the First Lady cry. The incident was so traumatic it caused her to exile herself from the U.S. She was comfortable in Europe and spent considerable time there, and also spent time traveling around Asia. She eventually returned to the U.S. as her career had a resurgence, and she settled mostly in Connecticut. The decade following her comments about the Vietnam War was hard for her to land roles in the U.S., but she persisted. In the late 70s, both her music and film career were taking off once again, and it was all uphill from then. The life and legacy of Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt died Christmas Day, 2008, after a long battle with colon cancer. She died at her home in the small town of Weston, Connecticut, where she lived a quieter life and had a respite from the world. She was 81. She won many accolades, including 2 Daytime Emmy Awards for her performances in the animated shows The Emperor's New School and Wonder Pets. She also had 2 Tony Award nominations for her performance in plays Timbuktu and The Wild Party. She received a place on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960. She never stopped speaking her mind about a variety of social and political issues. Clearly, the CIA file and the backlash she received from her challenge to the President and First Lady didn't weaken her. Eartha Kitt was married once to John MacDonald from 1960 to 65 and has 1 daughter, Kit MacDonald, who survives her. In America, she mostly lived in Connecticut and spent some time in New York to be near her daughter. She's still remembered as a talented actress and singer, but also someone who wasn't afraid to go against the establishment. Now it's time to hear from you. Are you a fan of Eartha Kitt's? Did you know about her exile from America? Let us know in the comments section below.